All right, in this video, we're going to go ahead and learn how to navigate our quiz and do better with it. And so one of the things that we're asked to do is that we need to go ahead and graph that equation that looks like this, okay, which is going to be a parabola. And so what I'm going to do is that I'm going to write it out over here off to the side, and we're going to see what we need to go ahead and basically our A, B, and C for our standard quadratic equation, such that we can use those letters or use those variables to discover all this other stuff that's down here and plot the graph strategically right here. Okay, so here we go. So the graph, what we're looking at is that we have ax squared plus bx plus c. And what we're trying to do is that we're trying to go ahead and find out what a, b, and c are. Sometimes if we don't have a numerical value in front of a variable, we need to go ahead and put a 1 there. So now we're all set to go ahead and start matching stuff up. So I'm going to use a highlighter here, and we can see that the number that is in front of the x squared, which is a, equals 1. So therefore I'm going to go ahead and put a 1, oops, not as a highlighter, a 1 right here. And we can also see that the number that is in front of just the regular x there is going to be a -2. And that's my b. And so I'm going to put a -2 right here. And then finally, I have the c value, and that's going to be a -8. And so I'm going to put a -8 right here. Oops. Keep it all the same color. And let's see where this takes us. So up or down, we always go ahead and we look at the a value. If the a value is positive, it opens up. If the a value is negative, it opens down. So in this case, we see that this is going to go ahead and be positive, and so therefore we answer this question by saying that the parabola opens up like this because it's positive. Now, the vertex, we start off with an equation that never changes. We always start with x equals a -b over 2a. So what we do is that we take the b, which is right here, we discovered it's going to be a -2, and a, and we plug them in right here. So notice I'm going to do that with the parentheses, and I'm going to say a -2, which is b right here, and I go ahead and have a 2 times a 1. Notice that the a is 1 right here, okay? And so therefore, I clean that up, and I say a -2 is going to be 2 all over 2, and that is going to be 1. So I know that this is going to be my x coordinate of my vertex. So what we want to do is that we want to take that 1 and we want to plug it into the original equation, which is right here, to find out what the y value is going to be. So let me set that up. Okay, so we take that 1, okay, and I'm going to highlight it as, or I'm going to put that as 1. And we're going to put it in for x up here, okay? So let's take a look how this plays out. To find the y value, I will have this plugging in 1 squared, okay, -2, and plugging in 1 again, okay, and then -8. So after we do all this stuff out, okay, whether you do it on your calculator or not, that this is going to give us a -9, all right? And this is going to give us our y-coordinate of our vertex. So therefore, I know that the vertex, okay, is going to be 1, -9. So I'm going to plot that over here, 1, so the way that I'm doing this, 1, -9. And so I plot that point, and that's going to give me something that's going to look like that, okay? So that is our second step. Our line of symmetry is always going to be the line that is going to cut the parabola in half. And the way that we find that is that we always take this value right here, which is the x value, and we say that it is going to be x equals 1. Now, that's a vertical line, and what's important about that, and I'm going to put a vertical line here, is that every time that we get a point that's on either side of that line, we know that we have another point that is reflected across it. I'll show you that in a minute. Okay. Our next thing that we want to do is that we're going to find the y-intercept. The y-intercept is always found by plugging 0 in to the original equation, which is up here, and then finding out what the y value is. So let's do that. So we go 0 x squared minus 2, plotting or putting 0 in, like that, minus 8. So at the end of the day, after I do that out, I know that I'm going to get a -8 out. Reason being, this is 0, this is 0, and then minus 8 gives me a -8. So I know that my y-intercept is going to be 0, -8. I plugged the 0 in, and I got a -8 out. So let's see what this does. So I go over here, and I say, all right, I'm going to plot this point, 0, -8, which is right there. However, I got the line of symmetry, which means is that this is 1 unit away from that line of symmetry. If I'm reflecting over the line of symmetry, I know that there's going to be another point that is the same distance away, which will be like this. Okay. And so that sets us up with a lot of good stuff. We need 5 points to make a good parabola. And so we have, at the moment, let's take a look, 1, 2, and 3. So therefore, we need another plug-in point, or what's called a strategic point, to go ahead and round out the parabola. We want to go ahead and we want to pick something that, an x value that does not already have a point on it. Notice that 0 already has a point on it. Notice that 1 already has a point on it, and 2 already has a point on it. If we pick 3, it would be nice to know where that y value was. So let's go ahead and pick that. So I go ahead and I go f of, or basically, I'm sorry, is that I'm plugging in the value 3. All right. So at the end of the day, I'm going to go ahead and clean this up. So this is going to give me 9 minus 6 minus 8. So I think I got this business, 9 minus 6 is 3 minus 8. That's going to give me a -5. So I know when I plug in a 3, that's going to give me a -5 out. So therefore, I need to go 3 -5, oops, is my point right here. However, since we have the line of symmetry, I know that I'm going to go ahead and have, it takes 2 spaces to get to the line of symmetry, so I know reflecting it over, I have another point over here. Okay, and so now I'm all set to sketch my parabola. I want it to be a smooth curve through all of these, and that's what it's going to go ahead and look like. All right, so that's how we do our first parabola there, and I will go ahead and explain the next one in the next video. So I hope this clears things up. Let me know if you have any questions.